Whenever you're ready to be bold, it's time for Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor. Call 337-404-1703. Find them on Facebook or book your appointment through Vagaroo. Whether it's a beautiful cut, the perfect color, or just a fresh update, Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor has you covered. They're right behind Domino's in Leesville at 1614 South 5th Street. And remember, be good to your hair. You wear it every single day. That's Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor in Leesville. Call 337-404-1703 today.
Let's be honest, you don't want to spend money in a business that smells like an armpit or a dipsty dumpster. Here at Leesville Tattoo, we keep the shop smelling great with the help of Christie's candles. They're so strong, we rarely light them. We just open the lids and let them do their magic. Do your nose and your company a favor. Open some of Christie's candles around your place and make living peaceful a priority. Christie's candles available exclusively at Leesville Tattoos.
Carrie Joe Photoco is the only choice when you're serious about preserving those special moments that only happen once in a lifetime. Weddings, engagements, graduations, grand openings, organizations, and events. Carrie Joe Photoco are the professionals. Need your event filmed? At Carrie Joe Photoco, it's not a problem. With hundreds of special events, thousands of painstaking creative hours, and millions of beautiful moments and memories captured, Carrie Joe Photoco has all the experience you require when nothing less than the best will do. 337-591-1748. 337-591-1748. Carrie Joe Photoco on social media and kmphotoandfilm.com. Don't wait till it's too late to preserve your moment forever with Carrie Joe Photoco. 337-591-1748 and kmphotoandfilm.com. That's Carrie Joe Photoco.
Hey y'all, it's Carrie Joe and welcome to The Truth Serum. Life is loud, messy, and a little crazy sometimes, and too often it feels like nobody's really hearing us. Like we're talking, but the world's not listening. On top of that, we're surrounded by negativity that tears us down when what we really need is more honesty, more support, and more real conversations that lift us up. So that's what we're doing here. The subjects that feel too dark or off limits, we're talking about them. Those uncomfortable moments you found yourself in and thought, I can't be the only one, we're talking about it. The dangerous, the taboo, the things people would rather sweep under the rug, we're talking about those too. Unfiltered, unashamed, unapologetic, and authentic. This is where the truth lives and where we can finally say the things we've been holding back. So pull up a chair, hit play, and let's talk about it on The Truth Serum with Carrie Joe.
There we go. And welcome into Leesville Tattoos and Views podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. No Mary tonight.
No, she cut out. I sent text to everybody, but I imagine she's worn out. She had a stream of people coming in and out of her place today.
Yeah, I saw a whole ton of people going in and out of there, and
that girl was working.
She's always
Congratulations.
She probably has a ball game tonight too.
Probably.
I would imagine.
Think about that,
she stays busy.
Yeah. So Josh, how are things going at your place, man?
Man, we're still doing construction. We're out of the demo phase. We're actually laying pipe in the ground, so that's a good sign. We've got the plumber on point, and he is, what they call bedding it in.
Right.
So we're bedding the pipe in tonight, and tomorrow we're gonna start laying in the wire and everything else, and hopefully we can do a one pour concrete. So we're gonna do external concrete work and internal concrete work. And one thing that the plumber told me that I wasn't aware of, he said usually when we do a new pour or we disrupt the ground or anything like that, he says some people or most people want to bless the grounds, and he said if you want to put a scripture or a prayer into the ground where we have broken the ground up, go ahead and get that ready. So what I thought about doing was making like a time capsule.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I want to do like some, I want to get you guys to write like a little paragraph or something, tell them who you are, what year it is, and what's been going on. And what I want to do is put like some pennies, because pennies are gone anyway.
Right.
Pennies are gone. I want to put some pennies in there. I want to put some scripture in there, and I want to talk about and just tell them, hey, look, this is what's happening. This is what has happened.
This is what's going on.
This is what's going on in our world. You know, we didn't do this. You know, wherever you're at in 2045 or 2055, we didn't do it. And we don't agree with it. And we're doing our best right now to try to stop it. So if it's all screwed up and you're digging this up 1,000 years from now and reading this and trying to decipher what happened, this is what happened.
This is the real story.
They may dig it up sooner rather than later when the price of pennies goes crazy.
Right?
They know there's some pennies in there. They may go, give me the shovel, Ralph. We're digging up some copper.
We need to make some tomahawk missiles to go kill some people in a desert land.
Lord have mercy.
So are either one of you collecting pennies now?
I've been collecting change for years.
Me too.
I've got a 5-gallon water jug like you put on a water cooler. And
and what's your address again?
well, I filled that thing up. There was one year, I don't remember anyway, I couldn't lift it. I had to get a dolly.
Right.
And it wasn't completely full, but it was pretty close to getting full. And there was quite a bit of money in there. And I regret now turning
Cashing
all
it
that
in.
change in.
Yeah.
Because, but that was a decade or more ago,
Right.
So.
So it was when it was still worth money.
Yeah, but I sit down and, I've got a micro,
When
what do you call the not a telescope, a magnifying glass, and I'll get a light and I'll just go through the coins and anything, pre 1944, depending on whether it's a dime, a quarter, a nickel, and it's just like my little retarded hobby I have.
Right. So talking about that, I went to a place in DeRidder, which is right next door to where we live, and it's like a thrift store. Well, this one little booth had some Morgan silver dollars and some other stuff. I thought, oh man, I'm fixing to scoop up some stuff,
Yeah,
But man, he was right on top of the money, man. It's like he must go in there by the hour and update the prices because he was on top. I was looking at JM Bullion and I was trying to check it all out, and he was right there. But it was cool to see that there is still some of that stuff circulating. He had some pre-1964 quarters, nickels, and dimes, which have 90% silver in them.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious, and I went on J.M. Bullion, and I looked up, pre-1964 bags, because you can buy a whole bag of pre-1964 quarters, nickels, and dimes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what they're going for. So a $200 face value bag. So $200 worth of nickels, quarters, and dimes. Just $200. Guess, and your wildest guess, how much that is going for right now?
It's just for the price of silver?
Just for numismatic, the price of silver and what they're worth pre-1964 coins.
With the spot price of silver, I'm going to say $800.
Okay.
Is it
so this
more quarters or more dimes?
It's a mixed bag. It's $200. It's $200 face value of whatever denomination it is.
Yeah, but
you don't know how much it is.
Well, I'm just thinking a quarter is going to weigh a lot more than 3 dimes.
Right.
So if it's $200 worth of quarters, it's going to be worth a whole lot more in silver than $200 in just dimes. But if you're going all three, I'm going to say... See, and this is a loaded question because if they took the lid off of silver and let it do what it does, that's $10,000. If we're going by what the price is right now, the restricted, the suppressed price, I'm going to say $1,200.
Okay. It was $19,000.
Yes! For a $200
face value bag of quarters, nickels, and dimes.
Whoa!
That's
on
crazy.
J.M. Bullion. Yes, it was.
Well, I got a
nuts.
dime from a gas station. I paid cash, got change back, and stuck it in my pocket. Well, later that night, I dump it in the change bucket. And a couple of weeks later, I'm going through, and I'd set that dime to the side.
Yeah.
I didn't put it in the change bucket because when I looked down, I realized
something different about
this was
that
made in the 40s.
Right.
Got to looking it up, and this was weeks and weeks and weeks ago, last year.
Right.
And that dime, it was selling for like $47 at the time.
Wow.
And that was like the average price at auction. Some of them had gone for 38, some of them for 72.
That's
but
crazy.
when you take the average price of these dimes, it was roughly, So, pennies. That's probably a really good idea.
Yeah, to hold on to the change.
Well, it's crazy for me to think about that. It's $20,000 for $200 worth
nuts.
of expendable silver.
Yeah.
And to know I've had way more than that through my greasy little palms over the last few decades.
When I was 8, had I known, I'd have been saying,
no kidding. Because, I mean, you think back when we were kids, all of us, the majority of change was from that era.
Yep.
I mean, because you're only talking 20, 30 years removed.
Oh, yeah.
So they hadn't had enough time to print enough nickels, dimes, and quarters.
Cull it all out.
Yeah, to cull it all out. So, had we just started saving them when we were young.
Yeah.
Oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't.
Well, I think my fascination with coins came from living overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
And just the different currencies and different coins. But somebody gave me change the other day, and it was a Susan B. Anthony dollar coin.
Oh, wow.
So I stuck it aside. But it's just neat thinking about, I've got some $2 bills. And I watched a video where some kid got arrested for trying to pay for his school lunch with a $2 bill.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't think it was real.
Oh,
yeah, the cops didn't think it was real either.
That's nuts.
There's a lot of people who don't understand that a $2 bill exists, which is when we were talking about the Christmas gifts, and I said, all right, let me back up, because years ago, my stepkids for Christmas, I took a box full of newspaper and $1 bills, and I crumbled them all up together and threw the $1 bills into the box with the newspaper, and that was their Christmas gift. So they had to dig the $1 bills out and separate them from the newspaper. Well, a stack of $101 bills is a pretty big stack.
Right.
It doesn't fit in a teenager's wallet. Let's just put it like that. So when I told everyone that, that's what I'd done, Mary went, "Oh, that's a great Christmas gift. I'm going to have to, keep that on the back burner." Now I'm telling on her Christmas gifts. Yeah. But I said, what you should do with inflation and everything is do $2 bills and then watch them try and spend them.
Kids getting arrested every other week.
Every other week trying to spend a $2 bill.
Well,
yeah.
2 of the $2 bills I have, they're silver certificates. They actually have, redeemable for silver. They're old. They're very, very old.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Almost as cool as taking a country.
Yeah.
By the way, China wants their silver.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they do. Russia got theirs out like 4 days before we went and got Maduro.
Yeah, we're talking about kidnapping the president of another country, which we just did. And that opens up such a can of worms.
Dude, it opens some doorways. Putin's going, well, Zelensky's sitting over there.
Well, Xi's looking at Taiwan going, we just do the same thing there.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
It's not like we have the moral high ground to stand on it.
For tat.
Yeah. Right. So, but the thing is, I saw that not only Russia got their silver out, China did not, but they had people on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
They were just too late, which tells me that they told Russia and they told China, hey, this is coming. Y'all better get your stuff. But I think about that and them stealing the silver, so to speak, and then what that's going to do to the price of silver.
Right. Yeah.
Is it going to lift the lid off of it? Because it's been so artificially oppressed for so long that now that the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, here we are.
They need resources to save the dollar.
Oh, yeah.
This is a last-ditch
That's all this
effort.
is about. The same with Greenland.
Dying empire.
Well, I know if I was Greenland, I'd be sweating bullets right now. I'd be like, hey, don't send guns. Let's if you're going to take us, let's talk about a sell price.
We come bearing salmon.
Yeah. We've got congealed eel into that.
Walrus tusks.
This is,
that's crazy, man. And then, so within 24 hours of invading, or what do you call that? Invading kidnapping a president.
Yeah.
So taking the resources that this country has, right? Within 24 hours, the War Department had already found a smelter and paid them. How much money was it that I sent y'all that link for? Was it like
millions?
It was $800 million or something like that to hurry up and melt Venezuelan silver down and smelt it as fast as they can and rebrand it as American.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, what?
Yeah. Well, Venezuela was one of China's largest trading partners in South America. That's where they got a ton of oil. Mm-hmm. That's where they got a ton of what they called precious metals or rare earth
metals
elements. But these rare earth metals, it's not that they're rare. It's just they're not in the ground like silver and gold. They're spread out so far. You have to move you're not going to find a vein of whatever.
Iridium.
Yeah, it's you've got to move a lot of dirt. Mm-hmm. You've got to sift a lot of dirt. You've got to
get a lot of poor African kids to mine it.
And it's some effort.
Speaking of that, do you remember about 2 or 3 months ago they had all those mines over in Africa that were starting to like have these revolts? Yes. And like people were the military was moving in and like killing the miners that were coming in there, and that was right before the lid kind of lifted.
Yep.
And I just didn't have the forethought or the foreknowledge to figure out that's going on in Africa because the military was told you need to secure resources on the ground immediately because something big is coming. And the reset or whatever they're fixing to do, I think everybody has now the fourth turning is coming, and they're like, oh, crap, we're behind the 8 ball. We need to get some resources. And so these governments in Africa were actually going into these mines and like shooting the company guys that were coming in there to mine because they were trying to get the crap out of there too.
Yeah.
Out of the ground.
Well, I don't know if you remember, I don't remember what year it was. J.P. Morgan, they opened the vaults. They had a bunch of silver, and they were going to do anyway. They opened the silver, and there was no silver. Somebody had swiped it and filled the bags with sand. Uh-huh. So this weight that they were trading against and borrowing against was non-existent.
Is that why paper shares of silver kind of got...
Well, silver and gold. And,
inflated.
I mean, Wall Street will put a floor and a ceiling on just about any commodity. And they do it by selling bad paper, right? Whether it's silver, hey, I'll sell you a piece of paper that says you own silver or gold or whatever, but don't you dare try to redeem it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough silver. We don't have enough gold. We don't have enough Bitcoin. We don't have enough GameStop shares.
Have you even began to see how much money has flooded into the Bitcoin ETFs this week?
Nope, I hadn't watched it. None of that.
It's insane, the amount of money, capital that has flown into these Bitcoin ETFs in the last, I'm going to say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To the point that it's such a large amount of money that it is floating the price of Bitcoin back up. The ETFs up to this point have done nothing but dilute it.
Yeah. Well,
trying to artificially suppress the price.
Yeah.
But there's so much money flowing into these paper Bitcoin accounts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I just keep thinking, okay, you keep doing this, you keep doing this, you keep doing this. The price of Bitcoin gets to $500,000 a coin. People are going to start wanting to trade them in.
Oh, yeah.
Quickly.
And now you got a bunch of bad paper, so you have to go and buy the Bitcoin.
Well, is the government going to bail out Bitcoin?
No.
Because that's
they will bail the banks out that are selling the paper.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to
the derivatives.
They're not going to let those banks that are issuing these ETFs fail.
Yeah, right. But the whole thing's a bubble, right? If you look at the price of housing, just the housing market, 21% of the loans that are applied for get denied. 48% of the refis get denied.
Wow.
They don't even have a number on the houses that just don't get put on the market.
Right.
They've got some idea of how many get, they lower the price trying to get them to sell. But the housing market is grinding to a halt.
Yeah, they said this has undertones of 2008.
Yeah,
2007.
But it's the bubble of everything.
Yes,
whether
everything
it's the
bubble.
stock market, the housing market, the derivatives market,
silver,
the bond market, you name it. it's been artificially inflated from the glorious Federal Reserve printing massive amounts of money. And they're about to, Cody was talking about this the other day. They're about to fire up the printer. And this is on top of all the fiat currency that's created every day just from people swiping debit cards and depositing money in bank accounts and swiping credit cards and, what the money print is going to be this time, who knows? But
so why are they wanting to do that?
Well, because they have to keep the economy floated. We have nothing floating our economy. We don't make anything. We don't produce anything. We are a consumer-based economy.
Yeah.
The more debt Americans are in, the better the economy looks. It's coming to a crashing halt, and there's only 3 ways out of it. The easiest is to print more money. So that's what they're going to do. Because if they take it to 0%, you're going to get houses or whatever at 3% interest rates, and, then nobody's making any money, right? You also have hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, less preferable than going to war, which is one of the other ways out of this.
Right.
But the question there is, who are you going to attack?
Right.
At this point, we really don't have many good options for attacking, which is why we go into Venezuela. Because what are they going to do?
Right.
They have plenty of oil and, not
They're
much of the
target.
Very low-hanging fruit.
Right.
On top of the fact, we just annihilated pretty much 80% of Cuba's special forces in one fell swoop, because the smart money is that Rubio is going to be invading Cuba.
That's next.
He's a Cuban. They're setting it up for all that. This is the direction it's going. So short of 0% interest rates, going to war, or printing more money, the easiest thing is to print more money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until we get ready to go to war.
So we can float our economy.
See that coming.
We're just going to flood the country with all this free money.
Right.
Just like they did before.
Helicopter money.
Yes. And everybody's going to be happy. Hey, I got my $2,000, communist money, or whatever you want to call it.
did y'all see
because nobody's not cashing those checks.
Right.
No.
So, yeah, they're going to have to float that until the next war. The thing with the next war is, obviously, Greenland's going to be made quick work of if they decide they, want to do that, which...
All 43,000 residents.
Yeah, which, we've got to have Greenland. We've got to have South America. We've got to have Central America because, we've tapped our resources, so we need more of theirs to pilfer so we can keep our economy afloat. And the only natural enemy for us, now that we've pretty much decimated the Middle East, is China.
Yep.
And we don't want to go to war with China.
Not yet.
China could invade us with spoons. We don't have enough bullets.
Yeah.
So eventually, it's going to come to a war with China, which is really why it would have been beneficial to have Russia on our side. But, since we screwed the pooch on that one, it's definitely going to come, because even if we take Greenland, even if we take all of Central and South America, once we pilfer all their resources and they're done, and our dollar starts crashing, there's only one place really left to go.
Yeah.
And that's China.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, if I was Cuba, I'd be sweating. Did y'all see the video where Trump was talking about Cuba's in trouble? And
oh, yeah. He was on Air Force One.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yeah,
she was excited to see that.
Man.
If you could see Lindsey Graham's face.
Oh, he was frothing at the mouth.
Dude, that grinder.
Yes.
He was... Yeah, Ms. Lindsay was excited about the prospect
all the little
of
boys
work.
he was going to get to meet.
Oh, yeah, all the Cubans and Speedos.
He was frothing at the mouth,
like,
man.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah, banana hammocks as far as the eye can see. Yeah.
Man, that guy right there, and he was part of the deep state that was a never Trumper.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then so Trump gets in, and then he's golfing with Trump, and they're going to dinner.
If Trump does not turn this around, if he does not deport in excess of 15 million illegal aliens, if he doesn't require AIPAC to register as a foreign agent, if he does not release the names of the participants of the Epstein list, the Republicans are going to get shellacked
Yep.
in the midterm.
Mm-hmm.
I watched bits and pieces of 3 different podcasts with different Gen Z influencers, and these guys, they just do not care. The one kid was saying, if these promises are not fulfilled, because we delivered him to the White House, let's admit it, it was the young vote that got him over the hump and put him in there. They're not voting. They would rather see a Democrat be elected and just go full commie and burn the place down rather than elect another Republican that just goes along to get along and carries the status quo and supports the banks and keeps the money flowing and the bombs falling. And
that's unfortunately where I was for the last election. I was like, I'm not voting. Well, I can't, in my good conscience, I can't vote for either any of this. I almost wanted to go vote for Kamala.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like Joe Biden's doing a great job at furthering on the decline. So let's just hurry up and get the party started.
Yeah.
So we can really get this ball rolling on the rebound, right?
Yeah. These Gen Z, they're used to instant gratification, so they don't want to wait 3 years, 4 years. Why spend 2,000 hours playing the video game when you understand in the first 200 hours it sucks?
Right.
But you've got these boomers telling these kids, you just got to get through that first little bit. You just
pull yourself up.
They want to see instant gratification. Start deporting entire families, Muslims, Somalians, it doesn't matter. If they're here illegally, get them out.
They're not going to do that.
And they want them in. Well, no, because the corporations
need them to work, and they need a tax base. And they need consumerism.
The consumers, yep. And Americans are not birthing children at a replacement rate. It's just so multifaceted. But the disappointment.
It works for a lot of different things. It works for digital ID. It has a lot of good attributes for tyrannical governments to move forward on their agenda. Mm-hmm. And that's why they allowed the mass migration to happen, because they have a game plan, they have a book, and they're following it to a T.
Yeah. But, the things that were promised by Trump during the elections.
He's a lame duck president now.
It is thoroughly disappointing, but it's no different than the state, right? We elected a quote unquote conservative majority in the House, in the Senate, in the governor's mansion, and we got a Democrat representative, and we've got a globalist Green New Deal agenda trying to get rammed down our throats. So these young kids, I call them kids, they're 20-somethings. The news media is not covering it, but in Mexico, the kids are storming government palaces, throwing furniture out the buildings.
Good for them.
Yeah, and this is going to be global, but in the United States, the Democrats are going to clean house in the upcoming elections, both the midterm and the next presidential. Who are they going to run? J.D. Vance? These kids hate that fat boy.
Yeah.
They don't want nothing.
Is that even his real name?
Yeah.
Is that what, four legal name changes, I think?
They're all just characters.
Yeah.
They're, they're selling a show.
Yep.
And,
the uneducated voter that's still voting actually thinks that it's going to matter if they do vote and that their voices is going to get heard.
Yeah. And they repeat the processes they've been fed, right? I was listening to a radio show, and this local guy called up and he was like, we need to get that real ID implemented so we can get the illegals out. And I was thinking, like, dude, you
turn
have
Fox News
no
off.
idea. Just stop. But en masse, right? How do you convince people? They're still in that blue
paradigm,
red.
Yeah.
Give me my helmet.
Yeah.
Let me strap up. I can go to war for my team. And the idea that you support that side regardless, man, you've got to hold your people to account much more so than the other side.
Yeah.
Because you wind up with what we've got now. It's one party.
Yep. Uniparty.
It's a uniparty. So, yeah, the narrative, it's eye-opening. If Trump does not turn this thing around, Republicans are not going to take the House or the Senate in this midterm.
It's almost like they already know that there's not really going to be a next election.
Yeah.
Like there's not going to.
You get that feeling too?
That feeling.
Well, the thing is, they already know who's going to win. It's one of their people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean,
Democrat,
and at this point, they're
Republican.
not even trying. You know, like we were talking about the emperor has no clothes. They know everyone knows they have no clothes.
Right.
They just don't care.
Right.
Because they know it's their guy or their guy.
Mm-hmm.
Either guy is our guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Or girl or whatever. And when they say our democracy, that's what they mean. Their democracy.
Yeah.
Not ours.
Not
people's.
ours. Right. It's their democracy. And they're not even really trying to hide it anymore. They used to use code words and kind of these sly little sayings and double talk. They're just not even, you know, they're not even there anymore. I mean, which one of the senators, other than the few we can name like Massey, don't want to go to war?
Right.
There's how many of them? 635 total between the House and the Senate?
Yeah.
And there's 3 that don't?
Right.
Meanwhile, 80% of the American public wants nothing to do with any of this.
They're just thinking about the military industrial complex in their region or in their sector.
Well, let me ask you this, Josh, because me and Lee were talking about this the other day, and this has been on my mind for a long, long time. Ever since I've been screaming the emperor has no clothes, which has been a long time. Let's just say they get everything they want in the new world order, the global agenda, digital ID. You can't do anything without their permission. They control all the resources, all the people. Then what? What's the end game? Okay, you have everything now. It's all yours.
Right. So they've instituted all of that stuff.
All the stuff is in
people
place.
People can't speak out against anything.
Right. People are falling over dead left and right, starving to death. You can't work. You can't do anything.
I think you just said it. I think they actually do believe in a depopulation agenda. And
so then why the big deal about not replacement theory, a replacement population replacement birth rate? Why is that a big deal?
Well, because if you look at historically the Western culture and Western societies, right? So you're looking at men who have had enough eventually pick up a shovel, a gun, a truck.
Back.
They'll fight back.
Right.
But if you have a more docile, ignorant, and I hate to say that word, but just ignorant of the fact of American policies and American history,
right,
our Western culture as a whole, and
Yeah.
they don't understand that, and you bring in a third world person who doesn't have any sense of worth of what the United States was or would be or could be or should be.
Right.
They've not care less about any of that.
Right.
So what you do is you bring that replacement person in, and they're just like, hey, as long as I can buy a pair of Nikes and get a house and a car and I can feed my kids, that's better than where I was. I'm good with whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So you create a more docile society that can be controlled, and then you manipulate them and you wipe out the other culture.
Us.
Right. Us.
Yeah, you wipe out the indigenous culture, which is kind of the same thing that they did to the Indians.
Right. So I get that. And then what?
Well, then you get what we did for the last 200 years is controlled destruction of the globe.
For what? Though that's my point. What is there? Okay, so now you've got this docile population. You can depopulate. Then you don't win a new Earth. You don't get a cookie.
No.
You don't. I mean, I don't understand.
No, but they want to, and this is where I think this gets into. I think my belief is this gets into the transhumanism, the next leg up for the human evolution.
Right.
So they want to go transhumanist. So they want to actually upload consciousness.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And create this otherworldly, godlike machine or person, right?
Well, yeah, they're not even trying to hide this.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they want to do is they want to propagate the next leg up for humanity so that we can go out and colonize the stars or the other planets.
Come on, Elon, get us to Mars.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen the movie called The Titan?
Yes. Yep.
That freaked me out.
Yep.
That was insane.
Well, and the technology, you can alter DNA at this point.
Oh, yeah, you can pick your kid's eye color now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So why not grow a tail and why not give them X-ray vision? But
I want a longer tail in the front.
yeah, right. I want an elephant's trunk. Man, something you mentioned that I should have wrote it down. I've lost the thought, but the replacement theory, right? I've heard people say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. It doesn't exist. But you look at an American family, right? They've worked 20, 30 years busting their ass at some job, being responsible, buy a home, cars, struggling to put groceries on the table. And you bring in some immigrants, they open a daycare and get $1.8 million, $2.5 million.
Yep. They jumped 3 generations ahead.
Easy. So now you've got
Of
your
working class
your,
Americans.
American population struggling, drowning in debt, taxes, debt, insurance, all of it, food prices, gas
And they've
prices.
got enough money to throw in a briefcase and bring to Uncle Islamabad over in Pakistan.
But all Jeetpoo has to do is open a business, apply for a government grant, and all of a sudden the money comes flooding in, and they've made, $1.925 million. And
So, my uncle was a fireman in Port Arthur,
right,
Beaumont, Port Arthur. The war was going on in Vietnam. We had lost the war, and we told the South Vietnamese that we would allow them,
right,
a large population of them, into the United States. Well, on the coast, all these shrimpers and all these people had all these shrimp boats for generations, right?
right,
Well, the government came in when the large population of Vietnamese started coming into the country. They gave them 0% hand-me-down loans to get started. Well, these guys were going to the shrimpers and be like, hey, we'll pay you $1 million for your boat. And I'm like,
right.
well, okay, it's only worth like $18,000. I don't care. I got free money. And they bought up all the shrimping
All the shrimp boats.
on the coast of Texas and Louisiana. And they decimated a whole generation of people that were handing down shrimping and shrimp boats and the culture that goes behind that.
Right.
And the American seafood industry basically overnight got flipped over to the Vietnamese, South Vietnamese that were coming into the country with these 0% interest loans, not payable back.
Right.
They were just giving them money. And he says one time there was a riot, and it was the gentlemen in white robes that went down there, and they burned, and you can still find it. They burned almost every shrimp boat that was down there.
Really?
Yeah. And of course they all got paid back.
Right.
But apparently the working class men of the area figured out, hey, we're getting circumvented by our government. And what they did was they turned the anger against the wrong people.
Right.
Yeah.
They turned their anger against the Vietnamese and the people that had bought the boats, when they really should have been pissed off at their local politician and their state representative and their congressman,
Right, for going
who
along with
allowed
that.
this influx of immigration to happen. And with these loans that were given out, they had misplaced anger.
Yeah. Well, people are pissed about the whole, the Somalia thing just blew the lid off of just how corrupt, because it's not just Somalians in Minnesota.
No.
It's everywhere. It's nationwide. Philadelphia, New York, California, Texas.
How many gas stations do you know that are actually owned by Americans?
I mean, it's everywhere.
Or
Well, and
McDonald's.
some of the things that the immigrants are doing are what our population did to survive the Great Depression. So these families in these communities every week put in $2.50, $5, whatever it was. And that community would use that money every week, and a family would get that money to, if their kid was going to learn how to weld, that bought their tools. Or then the next week, the family got it for childbirth or whatever it was.
Right.
But everybody was just expected to put in their $5 every week. And
eventually the lottery would turn around to your family.
Yeah, you would be shamed if you didn't make your contribution.
Well, the Koreans did that here.
Oh, yeah.
When all the soldiers at Fort Polk were going to Korea and bringing back Korean wives, one of their things was they would buy Levi's and send them back to Korea because they could get $500 a pair for them because they couldn't get them here. But once there was an established Korean community here, they started pulling their money. And when another Korean family would come in, they would finance them a dry cleaners
Mm-hmm.
or a restaurant or a whatever business they wanted to get into, the community would finance it like a bank. But all the money stays in the community.
Right.
Because you're paying back into the community coffers for it to go back out to another person in the community.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's a homogenous and tight community.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that. Can you imagine if we tried to do that?
Americans tried to do that. Well, that's how we survived the Great Depression. It wasn't the Great New Deal. It wasn't the banks offering loans. It was people pulling their resources and working as a community. We did do that at one point, but the community was much smaller, much tighter.
And that's what really makes me mad about like World War II.
Yeah.
And looking at what my grandmother went through and the stories that she tells me about how they had to live, I'm like, man, you pulled together. You did the hard things. You went and rationed your sugar and your coffee and your bread, and you went and built a victory garden, and you went and worked for the shipbuilding industry, and you went and did all this stuff for sacrifice on a personal level and a family level and a societal level, only to allow your government to go overseas and fight foreign wars for something that had nothing to do with the United States.
Print the value of the money away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in those communities, at one point, we knew how dangerous banks were. People stayed away from banks. People stayed out of banks, right? During the Great Depression, communities were printing their own money.
Wow.
And, they made it illegal for communities to do that. They pushed everybody into the banks. And now they are desperately trying to save this dying system, but people are pissed. This tax season, I don't think it's going to be as successful as they're hoping it is.
So you looked at the Monroe Doctrine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've already done this before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pre-1918, pre-1900, we were meddling in South America and taking over countries and installing dictators and propping them up with military arms and weapons.
Yeah. Let me give you a first-hand account of this. When we were living in Panama in Central America, they had 4 El Presidentes in 3 years.
Wow.
Every one of them died in mysterious plane crashes.
Yep.
And then they got Manuel Noriega, who was a CIA operative.
Yep.
And obviously, we know what happened there. He's in an underground prison in Florida, probably never to see the light of day again.
Right.
But we're the ones that put him in there.
Yeah.
So again, man, it comes back to everything is nefarious and it's all connected to each other, and you don't get, A without B.
Right.
And so none of this is coincidence or happenstance. It's all by design.
But you know how I've talked to you about everything kind of is turned cyclical?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're rerunning, the Matrix is rerunning the playbook of the early 1900s to get us ready for another global war, right? So America was always America first pre-1914, pre-1918. We were isolationists.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go to war. Europe had their own problems. We wanted nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. And
then,
we didn't have one of those banks in our country either.
Right. And so then we were actually, after 1913, we started sending material and food to a proxy war in Europe.
Yep.
And propagating that, just like we're doing in Ukraine, just like we're going to do to Japan. I think they're going to use Japan as a battering ram for China. And I think that's where the next buildup really in the Asia theater is going to be, is they're already trying to get Japan in a situation where their Navy is so big and sharp and worked so good with ours that they're going to be able to hold down China in the China Sea before they take over Taiwan.
Well,
hopefully, that's what they're hoping.
Japan can't afford it. I mean, if you look at Japan's economy.
No, and then you see what China did today, right? With Japan. So they basically stopped all export of any kind of, how do they put that? Material that can be used for semiconductors, weapons. Like, it's a big list. When they took Japan, and it's like, you're not getting any of this shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can't have any of it. And China just did that today. It's like, you can't have none of it.
China could do the same thing to us because we don't refine any of the rare earth elements, right?
It's going to take us 20 years to get to
we
where
have
we're
to,
at.
we have to send it all to China to get it refined. We can dig it up out of the ground. We can store it, but to process it and get it to where it's usable, we have to send it to China, and they send it back to us. And
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to back up a minute because y'all were talking about J.D. Vance, and he's the presumptive nominee for the Republican presidential race coming up. He was on, what's the comedian's name? He was on his podcast here a couple of weeks ago, and he asked him about Peter Thiel and Palantir and their collection of basically the central database.
Right.
And J.D. Vance said, look, I don't know the ins and outs and everything of it. And I'm obviously paraphrasing very loosely here. But he said that it was his understanding that they were doing this so that they could see, the same person that was on Social Security, if they were getting food stamps and if they had Medicare. And so they could get all this in one database and see your criminal record. And he said, but that's my understanding of why we're doing this. And it's very beneficial for the... And I thought, if you're that stupid, you don't need to be the president.
Right.
If you're going to lie to us like this and
Right.
act like you don't know what this is, you don't need to be president.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you will go on this, national podcast in front of everybody and straight face lie about it,
either lie or admit you're that ignorant.
one or the other, it's not good.
He had plausibility, deniability.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability.
But it doesn't work.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
again, the emperor has no clothes.
Well, the politicians are using a playbook that worked in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Well, they
but-
controlled all the media.
Yeah.
Now that Elon's bought Twitter, I mean, think about it. If he had not bought Twitter, we'd never know about the Somali scandal.
Right.
You know, I mean, you would have never known just how bad off in the throes of dementia Joe Biden was.
Right.
Now, I saw it before he ever got elected.
Oh, yeah.
You never would have known about Epstein.
Right. It never would have come out, never would have,
He just
So-
died in prison.
Yeah. Died. So, thank God Elon bought Twitter. Now, there is obviously some skewedness on Twitter even now about who you can criticize.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you criticize a certain star-laden country, you're not going to be on Twitter very long.
Right.
Or it gets throttled to the point nobody ever sees it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can tell me that there's not some
Definitely.
backdoor deal there.
Well, just talking, I talk to people in other countries almost on a daily basis. And the narrative that we are spoon-fed by our media. Our
Man, he's not really a Nigerian prince. Don't send him any money, okay?
No, I mean, our internet's not the same.
No.
Shelley in England, she'll tell me, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, no, but this is what I did see. And, it's astonishing. My friend Ryan down there in Mexico, him and his wife, I don't know if they will ever come back to the United States.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, we worked our ass off for 20 years, just spinning our wheels. They're like, we're thriving down here. This is awesome. They just keep taking turns on us. They're about to make Medicare, Medicaid go away, right? It's not going to be too much longer. I don't remember what year all this, 2026, well, we're in 2025. I don't remember when it is, but the whole thing, it's not getting renewed. It's not going to be the same thing it was
Right.
now. Same thing with the tax base, right? The big, beautiful bill. A lot of people don't understand the taxes you're about to pay.
Well,
Go
and the
through
fact
the
is,
roof.
there's more people sucking on the titty than paying into the titty now.
Yeah. And that's
Way
why they
more.
got to keep printing.
Printing the money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's completely unsustainable. What pisses me off to no end is that I'm over $100,000 in medical debt, no better off than I was when I was $0 in medical debt. And they are just pouring this money into these Somalians in Minnesota.
And that's why people are pissed.
One day of child care for me in Minnesota would erase my medical
Yeah.
debt.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Shelley was telling me they pay basically 10% of their paycheck
get
goes
it.
into their national.
I get it. It's socialized
thing.
medicine, and we're headed that way.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is no doubt about that.
and we're told they get shitty care.
Yeah.
They
Right.
get awesome care.
Right.
They get fantastic care.
Well, again, that comes back to when you can't attack the messenger, you attack the messenger. So because they get good care, you can't attack that. You have to say, these people are liars. Their care sucks.
Yeah.
It takes them 6 months to get seen. Guess how long it takes me to get seen?
2 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Wow.
Months and months and months and months
Yeah.
for anything.
That's because you're not buying that $800 a month insurance with a $12,000 deductible.
$800 a month would be cheap.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, people are getting to the point where they're like, you know what? Suck it. I'm not paying these bills.
Right.
I'm not paying my debt. I'm not paying these taxes. I can't. I'm going to buy food instead. You look at that van community that lives out west, it's like 30,000 people.
Yeah. Well, there's more and more. And I knew we were in trouble when I started seeing how many people were living in RVs full time.
Right.
Like, and it wasn't, well, we're going to sell our house and hit the road and retire. It was like, I got no place to live and this is all I can
And
afford.
I can't afford my taxes on my house anymore.
Yeah.
'Cause it's overvalued and it's just insane.
Yeah. So now I'm moving into an RV. And as someone who's lived in an RV, it's not fun.
Right.
I mean, it's
not the American dream.
No, it's not even close. I mean, it's better than a cardboard box. But again, you bring in people who don't even have a cardboard box.
Right. They think it's
They're
great.
more than happy to have a cardboard box.
Yeah. Especially when you give them free money, they're like, well, I'll buy that overinflated house.
Yep.
It's not my money.
Or that.
Well, it's
that
not their
shrimp
money.
boat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's our money.
Yeah.
Elon even said within the first week of getting Doge in to see the records, if we didn't have so much grift and so much NGO money and all this going on, we wouldn't be in debt.
Right.
All of our debt is made up. We're just giving it away.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we would stop all that, our debt would be, marginal.
Right.
At best.
Well,
even with only 35% of the population paying taxes.
I think
Right.
you brought it up the previous podcast about the bailout in 2008. That money, had they not sent it to the banks, had they let the greedy bastards collapse and go under, send them all to jail for derivatives trading and let the insurance companies collapse, new businesses would have taken that place. But had they given that money to the American public, everybody would own their house. Everybody that wanted a business would own a business.
Less than 33% of that money.
Yeah, there wouldn't be no medical debt. There wouldn't be any school debt.
No,
It
none.
doesn't propagate the system of where we're at.
Yeah, they want you in debt. They want you broke. They want you working
They want
140
the
hours
banks
a
in
week.
control.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Well, just the fact that when a baby is born in this country now, it's over $100,000 in debt.
Wow.
That's what it owes the government.
Very
Well, I
the day it's
unsustainable. I
born.
mean, I don't see what
I saw where every American, just not the interest, just to get to the principal, we'd have to pay $248,000. That's what all of us owe. To whom?
Right. For what?
Yeah. Who do we owe that money to?
Where's the accountability for that?
Well, our politicians, our fearless leaders, have,
Miss Lindsay.
propagated. Yeah, Ms. Lindsay and his like.
Going over to Ukraine and propping up
And for somebody that was supposed to drain the swamp, man, I am so disappointed Trump is just surrounding himself with them creatures.
Yep.
I mean,
It's like it's getting full-fledged now.
Yeah.
It's getting a hyper speed.
yeah.
I knew when he was playing golf with Miss Lindsay, I knew that it was going to be bad.
Yeah, I wanted the wrecking ball, right? I mean,
Right.
I wanted the same thing when Landry took. I wanted the globalists to just brick their britches, just evacuate their bowels immediately.
Well, you saw who was with him on Air Force One, right? So you had Miss Lindsay right there just licking his chops while he was trying to talk. And, oh, Cuba's next. And yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, then the next guy that stepped out of the little hallway on Air Force One that kind of chimed in, you know who that guy is?
Yep, that's
Howard Lutnick.
Yep.
Okay, so Howard Lutnick has deep connections, and he is the, I think it says here, I don't have my stupid glasses on. I hate getting old, man. Lutnick is what is he here? He is the 43rd
Is he the Treasury Secretary?
Treasury Secretary of Commerce.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's going through and basically getting all the deals ready for these companies, these oil companies, to start. I don't know how they're going to secure this. I don't know how they're going to provide security for the people either of Venezuela or the Americans that are going to go over there and die on an oil rig when it blows up. I don't know how they're going to get the security under control, because you're going to look at a Nicaraguan guerrilla style fight that I don't think the American military is inept to handle. You're going to look at Afghanistan 2.7.
Well,
I mean, it's going to get crazy.
The world is crazy, right? We're basically watching the world divide up into east-west.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to have,
it's a multipolar world.
Yeah,
We're
I don't
coming
know
into
if you
that.
saw where Putin, right? Russia had their assets frozen by the EU.
$300 billion or something
Right,
like that.
so-
Probably more than that.
And they were trying to sell us this as it really hurt Russia's economy. What Russia did is turned around and told the EU, we're going to take $300 billion of your interests. So Volkswagen, they lost their factories,
Yep.
they lost their equipment. Highmark lost their factories, lost their equipment, lost their products. So Russia made back their $300 billion.
Oh yeah, and like McDonald's, they just turned it into something else.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's probably healthier to eat.
Yeah. Well,
You
it
know?
definitely is. Well, McDonald's couldn't sell their food in Russia.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, I don't think Russia has a ton of steroided up beef either.
No.
You know,
Have you seen the KFC right there at the foot of the Gaza pyramids?
No.
This huge KFC restaurant that's like right there at the foot of the Gaza pyramids. Yeah,
Because nothing speaks Egyptian like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
And then over in Korea,
That's Cairo fried chicken.
Cairo Fried Chicken.
in Korea, they've got the colonel looking like he's like an Asian guy, and everybody goes and takes pictures with the statue of the colonel. It's crazy.
Colonel Jing Jing Pao.
Jing Jing Pao chicken.
They love fried chicken everywhere, man. Chicken is awesome.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love chicken. I ate
Chicken is-
chicken today.
Well, I hope everyone gets used to it because we're going to be eating a whole bunch of it here coming
Yeah.
up soon.
Well, Bill Gates is going to grow it for us in
Yeah.
a test tube.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you'll have Fat Boy and chicken,
Yeah.
Ground chicken burger.
ground chicken burgers, and
With my cricket meal.
If your chicken's not in a can, it's not real chicken.
Yeah.
Now y'all do realize that when they came out with that what was it called, the Miracle Beef or the Happy Burgers or whatever it was
something
called.
Burger King was doing.
Yeah,
Impossible Whopper. or something.
Impossible Whopper. Yeah, y'all realize they're doing that now, just not telling anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our kids have been eating in the school system forever.
Yeah, the vice president of Campbell's Soup said he wouldn't eat that crap because it's not real chicken.
It's printed chicken.
It's printed.
Yeah.
You're going to print meat.
Yeah, well, printed meat, it's almost as good as real meat, only not.
Yeah.
it's,
Nowhere near as nutritional.
it's exactly the same, only completely different.
It feels funny in your mouth when you're chewing it.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels worse when you're shitting it out.
And
Yeah.
it comes out the same way.
Yeah.
It looks the same.
Yeah.
It's like corn.
It's like corn.
I mean, it may be terrible for you and not have any taste, but boy, does it sure suck.
It sucks all the nutrients vital to your existence out of your body.
I'll tell you what's crazy to me about it is I don't think 90% of people would even notice because they put so much shit on their burger anyway.
Yeah.
They're not tasting the meat.
yeah.
They're tasting the tomato and the organically grown tomatoes,
Yeah.
the organically grown pickles. None of this stuff is organically grown, but they put so much stuff on it, they're not even tasting the meat.
Yeah, well, if you go to Duhan's or Run and K or Swallow, if you get real beef, you can taste the difference at Fat Boy and Skinny's. The beef looks different, it feels different, and it tastes different.
Right.
It cooks different.
Right.
The first time I bought beef from, I believe it was Duhan's. It may be, anyway. Making hamburger patties side by side with what you buy at the box store and what is out of the field, you can tell a huge difference. It's a completely different color. It behaves differently in the pan.
Yeah. It smells different.
Smells different. Tastes a whole lot better.
Well, see, everybody looks at me like I'm crazy because when I get a burger, it's meat and bread.
Right?
I might put some ketchup on it if I'm feeling a little frisky that day,
Right.
but I don't do cheese. I don't do condiments. I get meat and bread.
That's
Right.
it.
And that's it. If it's a good burger, that's all you need.
Right.
You don't need all the rest of it. That's
Yeah.
just a little extra. So when I order a burger and it comes out meat and bread, and it don't look like meat, and it don't look like bread,
Right.
you know.
Like a sausage biscuit.
Yeah. That's I got a hockey puck, and it's surrounded by some paper,
spongy shit.
Yeah. And so
Who was that got sued? Was it Burger King that got sued for making their burgers look bigger on commercials, and then you get it, and it's like a third of the and so you had to pay like millions of dollars in fines. So who? I don't know. I guess the government. Find a government entity.
Well, whoever sued them, they got like 1/32 thousandth of whatever was rewarded, and the attorneys got the rest of it.
Well, see, my wife, it's not a good burger unless it's running down my arm. I'm like, you have no idea what a good burger even is. You have too much stuff on there to even be able to tell. So I will drive to get a good burger, to get a real burger.
You ain't got to drive far, buddy.
No, I know, and I'm glad you're here because you used to have to drive a long way to get a real burger. But, she loves Burger King and McDonald's. And I'm like, it's not even real food.
Yeah.
It's not even close. And, God forbid you don't like salt.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ridiculous the amount of salt and calories. And I mean, I'm not saying a burger is healthy for you, but real beef and real bread, that'll sustain you.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the healthy sandwich place? Everybody, Jared, what?
Subway.
Subway. Thank you.
Good Lord.
Shelley, Subway cannot sell their food as it is in the United States in England.
Oh, wow.
Because their bread is considered cake.
Yeah, it's candy.
It's candy.
There's so much sugar in it.
And stuff in it.
Yep. So what they're selling us is a healthy alternative. Over there, nope.
It's cake.
It's cake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there's so much sugar, it's considered a dessert.
And we wonder why we all have medical issues.
Yeah.
Why Americans have medical issues. Well, they've been feeding us crap for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they'll even tell you that, when they bury someone now, you can go back 20 years, dig them up, and they've barely decayed because of all the preservatives.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be you put them in the ground, a week later, they were bones.
Right.
Wow.
Now, you can dig someone up 20, 25 years later, and they're
pristine,
fully intact. Yeah. Because we're so full of preservatives.
Barely have an odor.
Reanimator.
Yeah. I mean, it is absolutely crazy, but it's true. I mean, you start getting preservatives from, neonatally.
2 years old.
Yeah. I mean, before you're born until the day you die, all you're consuming is preservatives.
Right.
Even
if you're getting mother's milk, depending on what mother's eating, the baby's getting it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And full of plastics and everything else that's super duper healthy for you.
Yeah. Lowering your testosterone. And I think that's what they're trying to do is just make it to where fighting age males in this Western society is just more docile.
Yeah, a bunch of eunuchs.
Yeah.
And they're well on their way to succeeding.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely they are.
And you can't tell me that the chemtrail things don't have a lot to do with that.
Man, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
heavy metals and
they're turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
I don't understand that. That just perplexes me to no end, and I think that should be put to the forefront of just tell us why. Yeah. If they know that the sun is going through a cycle, right? And we're going through solar maximum, and they're worried about the sun throwing off solar energy and frying the grid or whatever it is. And that's their reasoning for that. Just tell us.
Yeah.
This is why we're doing it, because if we don't spray this stuff and put reflective material in the atmosphere, the solar rays are going to fry everything. We're all going to go back to the Stone Age and blah, blah, blah.
And think about that. How cool would it be for them to implement all this technology? We've got the Real ID. We've got chips ready to go in everybody, and there's a solar flare and fries everything. And oh, shit, we got to start over.
Yeah.
Jeez, dang it. We can't do digital currency because our networks are down.
Yep. Vault 33 opened up.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of have a new wish now.
Right? Dude, I secretly in the back of my brain still keep hoping Y2K kicks off.
Right.
We're all back to pencil and paper and talking to your neighbor and,
reading a newspaper.
Well, I've always said
your propaganda the right way.
Right. In print.
Propaganda the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, and I've said this for a long time, with all the digital stuff and the, this transcendental humanism, whatever you want to call it. When the earth is ready, it's going to shake us off like fleas on a dog's back. Yeah, because we think we are so important and we control everything. Yeah, we don't control nothing.
Well, that's when in the Bible it talks about man thinks he's a god and he can war against God, and God's going to show him that he can't. Yeah, I win in the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about people, if you remove all the trees, the earth's in trouble. If you remove all the water, the earth's in trouble. You remove the birds, the four-legged animals. If you remove people, the earth's just fine.
Yeah.
Well, they're removing the bees, and we're about to be in big trouble. I mean, the bees are dying in crazy
alarming
amounts.
rates.
And I really think that's why they want the food scarcity thing to happen, because then you can really crank down on tyranny. So when the food scarcity is, when people are hungry and they can't feed their kids, and they'll march right into the FEMA center and take the chip or get the mark or whatever it is. When Tommy can't get fed, Mr. Whoever is going to, oh God, I got to feed my kids.
Yeah, if you get hungry enough, you'll boil your shoe.
Yeah. So I think that's why they're looking at a food scarcity type deal, and that's why they want to have that controlled demolition of scarcity of resources and food and everything else, because then you can really crank the tyranny down and nobody's going to.
Yeah. And how many people can actually, still have the skill set to grow a garden?
Right.
To harvest chickens. But, most of our population now, a carrot will make them throw up. They want a polyurim plastic sugar thing out of a package,
Like looking at the old tools over at the flea market today. I'm like, I was trying to pick up this thing. It was a manual canner, right? And it actually took a metal lid and like sealed it on top of you didn't have to pressure can it. You just use this thing. And it's like, man, I was trying to figure it out. And I was like, how do you even use that? It's just like lost knowledge, lost technology. It's like, how do you fix that? How do you do that?
And that's where the older generations are so valuable, and we just tuck them away in an old folks' home and wait for them to die because they're an inconvenience to our consumer economy.
I'll give you a good analogy about that.
The pod.
I was watching a program a number of years ago, and it was these archaeologists, and they had found these rocks that they knew were tools. They could see by the lines on them, and so they were finding all these rocks. And I want to say it was like around Greece or Tunisia, that area of the world. And so these scientists, archaeologists were looking at these rocks saying, we know they're tools, and we're seeing them all over the place, but we have no idea what the ancients were using these for. We cannot, for the life of us, figure it out. Well, they happened to walk down to the beach, and there's a fisherman out there, and they got to talking to him. He was a local, and, they said, hey, we're finding all these tools. We have no idea what they're for. This guy took one of them, wrapped it around, made a net out of it.
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, we've been studying these rocks for 20 years, had no idea what they're using them for. And this little old dude, he knew exactly what it was for. He just took some string, wrapped it around it, pulled it up, and showed, well, yeah, you use it to make a net.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was an old guy, and he'd probably done it. It was probably handed down for years and years and years and years. Technology came, well, now we got automatic net makers.
Right.
Well, no, you need this rock, and it needs to be shaped just like this, and it needs to have these lines in it right here, so your threads are, you can tie it all up. And I thought, how much of that knowledge have we lost?
Right.
It just went away. Because now, we've got machines to do everything.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like years ago, we were pulling apart a house, and it had all square nails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the wood was so thick.
Yeah, these handmade nails.
That's awesome.
And this was all virgin timber from Vernon Parish. But yeah, they were handmade square nails.
Do you know how old the house was? I mean, it had to be 1800s.
Yeah, probably late 1800s.
Yeah.
And hand built, obviously.
Right.
But you know how much longer an iron square nail is going to last than a nickel nail or a,
Yep.
whatever other kind of weird.
So that's what
material.
George Washington at his plantation, that he actually had that was part of his business. One of his businesses that he ran on his plantation was a nail factory.
Really?
And he produced square nails. And come to find out, a lot of people, whenever they would build houses in the West or traveling or going to different places and, killing Indians and getting them out of the way and going to the Wild West, when they got ready to move, and they would just burn their house down.
Wow.
And they would pick up the nails. And take the nails with them to the next place.
Right.
So they would just burn, because the resource of wood was finite.
Right.
I mean, not finite, was exponential.
Yeah.
At that point in time. So they would just burn the wood down, burn the structure, keep the nails, go to the next spot.
Well, I can tell you why they burned the house down instead of pulling those nails out, because that wood was thick and heavy. Were those 8 inches or 10-inch boards that were in that house?
They were thick.
But we were moving some of them from out of the house, and I just got there, and I was like, well, I'll grab couple of these boards, and they were maybe 4-5 foot long, had been cut out. It was a struggle.
Right, and those have been drying
of them up
forever.
You talk about
dry boards.
The rings, the lines were all compressed. Like, this was heavy thing. You're not driving a nail in that quickly.
Wow.
Like, it's going to take some effort to pound a nail through that wood.
When you make a hit on a hammer, it's going to, you need to know what you're doing.
You compared it to the wood you get today, and it's like, this is balsa wood compared to what they were using back then. Like,
well, to that point, we have to replace our back deck because the wood's, it's just 20 years old now.
Disintegrated.
Yeah, it's getting to there. And I can't get one buys that even get close to matching it.
Right.
Wow. I mean, it's like, it's so off. You're going to be tripping over it board to board.
Crooked
because
boards.
they're so
unlevel.
Well, they're so,
Good thing you don't drink anymore.
Oh, that'd be better off if I did. Yeah, I could enjoy my back porch. But yeah, because I went and got a couple of boards to replace some of the worst ones. And when I put them in there, I was like, man, it ain't even close. I mean, it's not. It's
horrible.
I built a porch. It's not level. It's not square.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so I told the wife, I'm not sure, what to do. Maybe we should just go buy 2x4s.
They want you to buy a prefab from T.
That's exactly what they want. They want you to buy all the engineered wood.
Engineered stuff.
Because they've taken that 1/8 of an inch off of it so much over the years that now that 1x6 is like 3/4 by 5 5/8. Right. And so it doesn't match up at all. Right. With the wood that's there.
Jeez.
That high-end decking material that they use on those boat docks out there at the lake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
What is it, like $3 a foot or something like that? It's insane.
Yeah.
And some of these people got like a huge boathouse. And I'm just looking at that and I'm going, that's a $300,000 boathouse.
Yeah.
I'll give you an analogy to that. I worked for this company in Houston for 5 minutes, and we did a convention at the George R. Brown Convention Center for fishing. It was fishing. This was a fishing company, so there was tons of yachts there, tons of boats and all this. The guy who owned the company was a retired colonel, and he had 6 or 8 businesses. This was just his newest, and
venture.
it wasn't a startup. He'd been in business for 3 or 4 years, so he was doing pretty well. But this guy came by and said he needed more lights for his dock, and he lived down around Freeport. And so the guy's son, who I was there with, he said, yeah, man, this guy's got a yacht and built a dock out here. And so he wants us to go put lights on it and everything. And I was like, okay, cool. So a couple of days later, we drive down there to scope it out, kind of see what he's wanting and all this. His dock is about 2,000 feet from his backyard out. And he has about a 400-foot yacht parked on his dock.
Man.
So we get to talking with a real nice guy. You'd never know he had any money just talking
down
to
to
him.
earth.
But yeah, real down to earth guy and all this. And we get to talking to him and everything. And of course, his yacht is, it's gorgeous. It's, absolutely beautiful. Matter of fact, it was bigger than his house.
Wow.
Yeah. And he spent more time on it than he spent at the house. But just out of, kind of talking in the course of conversation, said something about, man, this is a beautiful dock, because it was all that engineered wood and it had every accoutrement on it. You could imagine the railing and all this. And he said, yeah, the dock costs more than the boat.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, if that gives you any idea. Now, when I tell you this was a dock, I'm using the word dock loosely.
Right.
I mean, he had boat houses on it and like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath guest house out on the water. You know, I mean, it was elaborate.
Right.
But when he said, yeah, the dock cost more than the boat, I was
Wow.
holy Toledo.
Man.
Because the boat was $10 million easy.
Wow.
I mean, it may have been more than that.
Talk about the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I saw a thing today. 53% of the economic activity in the United States is conducted by the top 1%.
Yeah, top 1 or top 10?
Top 1.
Top 1%.
Top 1% of the population
is
is conducting 53% of the economic activity in the United States.
Well, I mean, they're buying up assets at a cheaper value, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
they're spending money on assets maybe to try to protect their investment or their loss.
They're creating a trust, and they're borrowing the money against their assets, against their money to purchase more assets, clothes, whatever, canned goods, land, cars, whatever. But they don't actually spend any of their money.
It's moving around.
Well, they're borrowing, because you don't pay taxes on money you borrowed.
Gotcha.
But you got to pay taxes on the money you spend. But if it's somebody else's money, and so, but yeah, the top 1% is responsible for 53% of the economic activity in the United States.
That's
right
scary.
now. So what is the other 99% doing?
Yeah, just scraping by.
They're just scraping by, just getting by.
Just living as frugal as they can.
And there's a whole section of the population that they're not even trying anymore.
Right.
I mean, and I'm here for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Something's got to change. We cannot keep going the way it's going. Like Cody was talking about just lying to us. Just tell us the truth. We're all big boys and big girls.
The crazy part to me is they lie to us because they think they're the smartest ones in the room.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not even close.
No.
They're not even close.
Oh man, if we were to sit down with some of these guys that are betters,
yeah,
it'd be.
Oh,
it is. It's really hard to understand how disconnected they are.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let me ask you guys this, and I really kind of wanted to get Mary's take on this because she's always entertaining with these kind of questions.
I'm used to looking over there and seeing her.
Yeah. Well, and we kind of brought it up on the last podcast a little bit, and I made light of it. But if you were both of you guys, and you answer this individually, if you were appointed benevolent dictator of Earth, what would be the first thing you do, and what would you look most forward to doing? And let's back it up and say if you were just benevolent dictator of the U.S. So we'll answer that one first, and then move on to if you were benevolent dictator of the world. Anything you say goes. Your word is the law of the land, the law of the earth. What's the first thing you do?
The first thing I do is get rid of the Federal Reserve central banking, fractional reserve banking system.
Cartel.
Josh?
I would go, I mean, of course, that sounds good too. But the first thing that I would do, I think, would be to go after these people that prey on children and sex trafficking.
Absolutely.
And the amount of money and people and children that are kept in captivity and slavery. And I would go and extradite all those children. And then I would publicly execute in the most heinous way anyone that was associated with any of that, whether it be the police chief, the cartel, whoever's doing
CEO.
Whoever's on the island doing all the things on a boat or going on these snuff adventures in these third world countries and buying children to torture to death and skin alive. I would make them an example as to what is not going to be tolerated on innocent lives and children. And I would propagate that on live stream TV for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of that.
Yeah, just feed them to a wood chipper.
Oh,
feet first. Yep, slow roll it.
Yep. It would be horrible.
So if you're benevolent dictator of the earth, what would you do? Every country, all under your power. Doesn't matter who, what, how, where, when, why. Whatever you say goes. The entire planet.
We immediately stop all wars.
Right.
And we immediately take everybody who has been involved in propagating those wars, or anybody that's involved in the government, a said government at that time, is automatically removed from their position, and the people that have an interest in the country, not a financial interest,
Right.
and an interest in the people, would be put to the forefront and be like, okay, here's how we're not going to have a war. And we're going to talk and discuss the things that are coming up, and we're going to figure it out without having to fire a shot and getting somebody killed. Right. And so we stop any of that. Right. And not saying that violence is going to stop there, because you're still going to have conflict. But if we're going to do that, let's do something like they do on like have like a video game or something,
Right.
Like
so you settle the score.
Yeah, you just take a big video game monitor and be like, okay, take your best dude and put him up against this guy, and this is how we're going to solve this. You know,
No one gets killed.
Nobody gets killed.
But you wouldn't know what the game is. Like you might be playing a video game, and you might be playing marbles.
Yep.
You might be.
That'd be awesome.
So I would make it to where no corporation could have a profit margin larger than the GDP of any nation. The CEO could not make any more than 10% of its lowest paid employee. I would make it to where the corporations could not interact politically. They would have to.
Government is for the people.
The people would become more important than the corporations. It would be set up to where the corporation, you wouldn't have employees of a corporation on public services to buy food, to pay rent. There's no reason why somebody working 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week should be struggling to feed their family.
Right. And what about you, Cody? So, supreme ruler of the United States, what do you do?
Supreme ruler of the United States, first thing I do is close the borders. I mean, completely, 100%. The borders are shut down. The second thing is I would reorganize the caste system that we have now, because I am very much of the mind that the janitor is every bit as important as the CEO.
Yep.
If not more so.
And I don't believe that, just because you have a title, that does not make you smarter, better, more anything than anybody else. You just happen to get lucky.
And more corrupted.
And way more corrupted. So I think I would start there. The other thing is, we throw away so much food. Nobody in this country should be hungry.
No.
Right.
Absolutely not.
And it shouldn't be through food stamps. There's enough farmers markets you could put up that, hey, you ain't got to throw all them crops away. You don't have to plow them under.
Right.
On court order. How about we harvest this, take it down to the farmer's market, and anybody who's hungry can come get it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not costing anybody anything, but we plow so much food under.
Yeah.
Well, our government will pay farmers to not grow stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get all that manipulation out of it. Let the market decide. How much corn do we need?
Right.
The market will tell you.
Right. So, I would get rid of all that. If I was the global dictator, wars would stop immediately.
Yeah.
And then we would figure out who's been raping all the resources from the different countries and correct all that. If your biggest natural resource is silver, the population of that country should get the money from that resource.
Yeah, it should
go to the people.
Cut
right
of every.
The reason we're in Venezuela, or one of the many reasons we're in Venezuela, is because Exxon and Conoco and all the oil companies put billions of dollars into that country, into the oil platforms and the oil derricks and all this. And when he took over, he took it away from them.
Right.
He claimed it for the country.
Right.
Well, we can't have that. That's the corporate overlords, and you can't take our money. That's our money. Even though, do you know what kind of subsidies we as taxpayers give the oil companies?
Oh, man. A lot. Yeah.
So all that would stop immediately.
Yeah. No corporate welfare.
No corporate welfare. No, if you can't make it in the market, you just can't make it.
Yeah.
Just like you, just like Mary.
Yeah.
If you can't make it, nobody's coming to bail you out.
No such thing is too big to fail.
Right.
No.
Yeah. You have to burn the dead shrub.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Well, no, you don't, because then you get California wildfires. You just don't burn nothing.
well,
Burn it all.
Yeah.
Burn everything.
it's going to burn due to lightning strikes or you name it. It's
Yeah.
nature's way of getting rid of the dead shrub, and it allows for new growth. It's the same thing with a company or a corporation, but
Or a country.
Or a
a
revolution.
country. Yeah. Well, the life cycle of an empire is 250 years, and mega cities are a marker of the end of your empire, right?
Really?
Yep. There's a 6-stage life cycle to empires. And just like a human person, you can't stop the death of an empire.
Once you reach a certain stage.
You can't stop the death of it. Well, and it's repeated through history. Some last 238 years, I think there's been 2 that have hit the 250-year mark, but no empire, there may be a different form of it, there may be a different government on top of this culture, but the empire life cycle is roughly 250 years, and 2025 is 250 years.
Well, you're talking about the mega
2026.
city. When I was living in Houston, I applied at the Houston Metro Rail. And at that time, I mean, signs everywhere, big posters drawn up of the high-speed train they were building from Houston to Dallas.
Okay.
And it was going to take less than an hour to get from Houston to Dallas.
Wow.
Which meant that, you could live in Dallas, work in Houston.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. So that was going to be their first mega city, was going to be Houston to Dallas.
Wow.
They're now saying it's Austin to San Antonio, because Austin to San Antonio is almost connected now.
Man.
Very similar to Houston and Beaumont. There's very little open land now
Right.
between Beaumont and Houston.
I got you. Yeah.
So they're saying Austin and San Antonio is going to be that super city now.
Okay.
Because there's such a small amount of space
In between them.
in between them that they're going to be connected probably within the next 5 years.
I watched that happen in Dallas.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid.
Dallas to Fort Worth?
Yeah. Dallas, Fort Worth.
Or
Yeah.
Dallas to Plano? That was another
I
one.
lived in Garland, and then,
Yep.
traveling to, the other side of Dallas, you were like, man, look, it's 40 minutes of driving through nowhere.
Yeah.
And now you can't even tell you left anywhere.
It was like that in Houston going to Galveston. Growing up in Houston, spending my formative years in and out of Houston, there was a nice drive between Houston and Galveston, or Houston and, say, Rosenberg, Texas.
Right.
And in between Houston and Rosenberg was all prison land. That was all prison farm out there. I don't know how long, 20 years ago maybe, or yesterday, whatever it was. They sold that stuff by the square foot. Not by the acre, not by the quarter acre, by the square foot. It was that valuable. So the state of Texas said, we have to get rid of it because it's not paying for itself for what we're prison farming on this stuff that is going for $500 a square foot.
Right.
So they ended up selling it. Brother, I'm here to tell you, they didn't sell it, and within 6 months, it was connected. From Houston to Rosenberg, there was no open land. It's all car dealerships and condos, and I mean, it went up in probably 6 months, maybe a year tops.
Yeah.
But there's no separation between them now.
Yeah. I think Dallas or Houston is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States.
Well, I know Austin is.
Yeah.
Because so many people from other parts of the country are moving there.
Mm-hmm. It's cheaper.
And, it's way cheaper. And I think
cheaper on California money.
Well, and that's what it is. California, New York, Massachusetts, so it's way cheaper. And those people can't believe you can get a 3,000 square foot house for less than $1 million.
I know.
Yeah,
which is driving the price of those houses through the roof now.
Yep.
Same thing in Montana. Those people love big sky country. They've been priced out of their own backyards now.
Yep.
Because of the influx of people from,
other places.
Yeah. Houston's now an hour from Houston.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I got a list of the 250-year cycle, right? Assyria was 247 years, 859 to 612 BC. Persia was 208 years, 538 BC to 330 BC. Cyrus and his descendants in Greece, 331 to 100 BC, 230 years. Alexander and his successors, the Roman Republic, was 260 to 27 BC. That was 233 years. The Roman Empire, 27 BC to AD 180 is 207 years. The Arab Empire, AD 634 to 880 was 246 years. The Mamluk Empire was 1250 to 1570. It was 267 years. The Ottoman Empire was 1320 to 1570. That was 250 years. Spain was 1500 to 1750. That was 250 years. The Romanov Russian Empire was 1682 to 1916. That was 234 years. Great Britain was 1700 to 1950. That was 250 years.
Wow.
But there's a cycle, of exploration, of the golden age, of the mega city, and it just repeats over and over and over and over again. Well, we're 250 years, so how much longer can we keep it going?
Well, and honestly, we were talking about, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Galveston. Now they're talking Austin, San Antonio. The fact is, Southern California has been a mega city for decades. Yep. I mean, you can basically leave San Diego and stop at San Francisco with not a whole lot open in between. And that's a huge exaggeration. It's a long way from LA to San Francisco. But the point is, from the top of Los Angeles till damn near San Diego, that's one long
you don't know when you're going from one city to the next. It's just one big metroplex.
So if the mega city is the canary in the coal mine for the empire falling, we've been there for a while. And
I've followed some different sociologists, and it seems like the general consensus is we will fracture into regions.
Right.
Balkanize. So the United States may not go away, but we're not going to be too united, if their theories are correct. But it's impossible to last because people's attitudes change, right? There's one cycle where, military service to the state, service greater than oneself is what brings honor to your family. It's what brings honor to your name, and it sets you up for success in the future. But when you move out of that cycle, you get to this where you don't depend on community anymore. You're hyper individualistic. So people that live in the city, they don't even know their neighbors that live in the same building. They're just focused on what they have to do. And money becomes the honorable thing. Mm-hmm. Well, when money becomes your source of happiness and honor and status, that ritualistic pursuit of money never stops. So what do you start contributing to society?
Right.
Money. That's it. So that
nothing social, no social fabric.
So we're not going to be here in this form in another 250 years.
No,
we're not going to be the one country, the one empire that bucks the trend and lasts 500 years.
Yeah. No.
This facade that we're living under, nothing's real.
Right.
Right. I mean, these conversations we have, they are more real than anything I see on TV.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even what defines wealth, what people determine is valuable, it's ink printed on paper that's has no value to it other than everybody agrees that $20 is $20. Well, now they're not even printing it anymore.
Right.
It's just digits on a computer. Go to the bank and try to get $2,000,
right?
$10,000, $14,000. They're going to look at you like you're crazy.
Let's get back with you on that. Can you schedule that?
Yeah. Can you come back in 10 days?
Yeah.
And we might be able to give you part of it. I mean, the system is cracking. There's fissures, there's holes, and everybody can see it. And when these politicians 2026, that's going to be the year people are no longer going to be able to keep their head in the sand, keep their head down, and pretend everything is A-okay.
Well, it's like the infrastructure. I mean, just look at the roads, the bridges, the power lines, the water, the sewage, the drainage, every part of our infrastructure is just crumbling beneath us.
Our streets leak.
Well,
Yeah.
that's so we can have childcare in Minnesota for Somali kids.
I mean,
And,
yeah.
Who's going to put
just-
up with this anymore?
Just look at the local level. I mean,
yeah.
look at right here. I mean, just where did the money go? Why have we not got competent people in the city government that can fix these problems? And who's getting paid what?
yeah.
Let's look at who is getting paid for doing the service or the disservice to the people of Leesville or to Vernon Parish.
I wanted to tell y'all this joke, and it's only kind of a joke, but I think it's apropos with me like asking, what's the end game? Why?
Yeah.
What happens? All right. So this businessman sees a fisherman laying down on the shore looking at the sky. Goes up to him and says, "Hi, why aren't you fishing?" He says, "Well, I caught the fishes we plan on eating." He said, "But if you caught more, you could sell them." He says, "And then what?" He said, "Then you could buy a motor for the boat and catch even more fish." The old man says, "And then what?" He says, "Then you can sell more fish, get more boats, and even more fish and sell that as well." He says, "And then what?" He says, "Well, then you can enjoy life." He says, "And what do you think I'm doing right now?"
Ha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets
exactly
to the
right.
point why,
Yeah.
at some
You get
point,
so big.
stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
It's cyclical.
Figure out what's important.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems to me these folks are just chasing their tail. For what?
Well, and they've programmed us
To be consumers.
consumer, want more,
Right.
more.
You got to have the newest, the greatest, the best.
Yeah.
Look the best, newest clothes,
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you have
newest
this
car. It's going to bring you happiness.
yeah, you'll be happy then.
Fight Club.
Yeah. Yeah. It exactly is.
I mean,
Yeah.
right? The movie Fight Club.
Yep.
Yep.
That touched on that, and that was all when that whole Occupy Wall Street was going on. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that movie had a lot of deep undertones. If we would have just
Yeah.
Y'all noticed that you've never heard or haven't heard the saying, life imitates art lately?
Mm.
You used to hear that all the time.
right,
Life
Yeah.
imitates art.
Not so much.
You don't hardly ever hear that saying anymore.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well-
and it's probably because it's the other way.
Well, now
AI is
art,
Yeah.
a millionaire who made $43 million is trying to figure out how to curb his tax bill. So he hires some guy to paint a white stripe on a blue canvas.
You're talking about Hunter Biden?
And then he goes and gets it appraised
Yeah.
from an art appraiser who runs in the same circles as the millionaire. And the art appraiser goes,
Money laundering.
You paid him $24,000, but this painting's worth $43 million. So then the millionaire donates the painting to a museum or
tax
art
write-off.
gallery and gets to write off his net worth. And what do you know? His tax bill's $0 now. So
Yeah. Why has Hunter Biden not been?
because if they prosecute Hunter Biden, right, when he was smoking crack and leaving his guns in a dipsty dumpster behind the school, and when he was banging prostitutes and
But
underage girls,
he was doing the
and-
whole art thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
painting
he
art.
was. Well, yeah, people were paying him, because they
$500,000 for a
yeah,
painting.
they need that tax write-off. But Hunter Biden had Secret Service protection, so people knew.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not just Hunter Biden.
Oh,
Hunter
yeah,
Biden was just blatant and stupid with it
Right.
because he was all fucked up on substances. But it's all their kids.
Yep.
It's all their family members.
So there's a funny story about that, talking about kids and money laundering and all that stuff. So the Venezuelan thing was fixing to go down. Well, there was this new account on Polymarket that came up hours before and made a $30,000 bet on the exact time that the Venezuelan
No shit.
coup was going to happen, and this account that was just newly created ended up pocketing $4.8 million on the bet.
Wow.
On a $30,000 bet, and everybody's like, "That was Barron.
Yeah.
That was Barron Trump."
Gotta be.
Trump cleaned up on that, but
Gotta be.
Wow.
Well, I think I'm going to answer for Mary when I said what would be the first thing you do. I'm going to say Mary's going to say, "We're not having any bad hair." She's fixing everyone's hair for. I'm just kidding. She'd have something better than that to say.
yes,
But,
right.
Look, we need to wrap this thing up. We've gone
Roger that.
again way too long, man.
Golly, we
just
do it.
We just can't
Yeah.
keep it down, can we?
we were shooting for 30 minutes and we went for 2 hours.
We're getting close. So, anyway, final thoughts, guys, before we wrap this one up.
Be a wiener.
Be a wiener.
Yeah, man,
Sticking with it.
I'm doing good. I've weaned myself a little bit, so I feel good tonight.
Have you weaned yourself off a plumber yet?
No.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Pipe glue, baby.
Sorry. Hate to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going right back to my New Year's resolution. Every day you wake up, that's your New Year's.
Yeah.
Live it like it means something, because it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get to redo.
Nope.
No.
You got one life.
Yeah. There's no do-overs, man. And that's hard to, it's hard for a lot of people to come to grips with that.
You come into this world with nothing, and you're going to leave with nothing. So, build
all the
your
shiny crap that
relationships.
you got doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. When I've decided I would look around and maybe possibly start dating, I asked this lady for her phone number because we'd been engaged in a conversation. It was going pretty well. But when she saw I had an Android, she was like, oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, cool.
What?
Awesome. See you later.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
That's a thing?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess she was Appleite, or I don't know what you call them, but yeah. Me having an Android was a total turnoff. I was like, well, you're really going to be disappointed when you see me naked, because my Android disappoints you.
Oh, my God.
In this right now.
Gracious. All right. Look, a couple of things. First off, if you like supporting the truth, thanks for being here. We go into some deeper dives that you're probably not going to hear many other podcasters get into, so we appreciate you being here for us and joining us with this. And if you value uncensored truth-seeking, be sure to join us here. There's no rabbit hole that we won't uncover.
That's right. We got our beagles and our hound dogs ready.
We will explore it.
Go down. If you're awake, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here. We definitely want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas. So please
leave us some comments.
Leave us comments. Send us an email. Direct message us. Whatever the case may be. Protect yourself from the surveillance. I definitely want to tell everybody that. If you've not got yourself, one of those, grow a beard, he says. That's how you protect yourself, with a beard. Look, but, get yourself a Faraday bag.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your information as private as possible, even though absolutely nothing is private anymore. Nope. But you can definitely go a long way to protect yourself. Next, question everything. If you hear it in the media, if you hear it, question it. Look at why they're saying what they're saying. It's usually not that hard to figure out.
And if you see it on Facebook, find the source material.
Please.
That place is a dumpster now.
It really is. It is an absolute dumpster fire. Yeah. But look, if you're awoke, if you're seeking the truth, if you understand that what you're seeing isn't all it's cracked up to be, welcome aboard.
Right.
Yeah.
And help somebody, man. If somebody needs some help, or they're having a bad day, or somebody's driving too slow, don't honk at them. Just come on.
Grace.
Relax a little bit. Yeah, grace.
That's
grace.
That's absolutely it.
Help somebody out.
Guys, man, I always have a great time doing it.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, this is
awesome.
All right, look, well, leave us a comment, leave us an email, leave us whatever. You can even call us. Go by and get one of the best burgers in the world at Fat Boy and Skinny's as soon as he's reopened. Any idea when that's? You got to.
We're hoping this weekend.
This weekend, maybe
something will happen.
My boys are going to be so freaking happy.
Everybody is.
I'll
man.
be there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't like.
We do like a grand reopening.
It might be.
We're gonna be doing some painting and some cleaning, and so
everybody comes through the door, gets a paintbrush. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man, if you need
paintbrush
some
and free burger.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so come by, get your tattoos from Lee. Go by, get your hair did with Mary over at Magnolia Lane. Go by, see Josh. Get one of those unbelievable burgers at Fat Boys and Skinnies. And as far as me, well, if you have a guitar you want me to look at, I can do that too. So, and I am going to start booking for It's Your Night DJ services and MC services. So if you got a wedding, anniversary, dance, something like that, private party, a grand reopening, something like that coming up.
Cool, man.
I will show up with lights and sound system and bells on, and we'll make it a party, man.
That's awesome.
Anyway, appreciate you guys listening to us here at Leesville Tattoos and Views. Till the next time, y'all have a good one.
God bless.
Whenever you're ready to be bold, it's time for Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor. Call 337-404-1703. Find them on Facebook or book your appointment through Vagaroo. Whether it's a beautiful cut, the perfect color, or just a fresh update, Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor has you covered. They're right behind Domino's in Leesville at 1614 South 5th Street. And remember, be good to your hair. You wear it every single day. That's Magnolia Lane Beauty Parlor in Leesville. Call 337-404-1703 today.
Let's be honest, you don't want to spend money in a business that smells like an armpit or a dipsty dumpster. Here at Leesville Tattoo, we keep the shop smelling great with the help of Christie's candles. They're so strong, we rarely light them. We just open the lids and let them do their magic. Do your nose and your company a favor. Open some of Christie's candles around your place and make living peaceful a priority. Christie's candles available exclusively at Leesville Tattoos.
Carrie Joe Photo Co. is the only choice when you're serious about preserving those special moments that only happen once in a lifetime. Weddings, engagements, graduations, grand openings, organizations, and events. Carrie Joe Photo Co. are the professionals. Need your event filmed? At Carrie Joe Photo Co., it's not a problem. With hundreds of special events, thousands of painstaking creative hours, and millions of beautiful moments and memories captured, Carrie Joe Photo Co. has all the experience you require when nothing less than the best will do. 337-591-1748. 337-591-1748. Carrie Joe Photo Co. on social media and kmphotoandfilm.com. Don't wait till it's too late to preserve your moment forever with Carrie Joe Photo Co. 337-591-1748 and kmphotoandfilm.com. That's Carrie Joe Photo Co.
Hey y'all, it's Carrie Joe and welcome to the Truth Serum. Life is loud, messy, and a little crazy sometimes, and too often it feels like nobody's really hearing us. Like we're talking, but the world's not listening. On top of that, we're surrounded by negativity that tears us down when what we really need is more honesty, more support, and more real conversations that lift us up. So that's what we're doing here. The subjects that feel too dark or off limits, we're talking about them. Those uncomfortable moments you found yourself in and thought, I can't be the only one, we're talking about it. The dangerous, the taboo, the things people would rather sweep under the rug, we're talking about those too. Unfiltered, unashamed, unapologetic, and authentic. This is where the truth lives and where we can finally say the things we've been holding back. So pull up a chair, hit play, and let's talk about it on the Truth Serum with Carrie Joe.
Yeah, there we go.